Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You know what time it is. It's time for Week 16 predictions. The season is nearing its end, and again, I have to apologize for missing the last two Thursday night games. My work schedule, due to the fact that the holidays are approaching, my work schedule has been quite busy, and it just hasn't left me a lot of time to record these long videos. We're really record anything in general, so I will let you guys know next week's video. I will try my best not to make it late. Most of my shifts for the next week are a bit later in the day, so I might maybe earlier time to make those videos. But any other newer videos might be delayed a little bit. But anyways, week 16 started off with a absolute battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams, where the Seahawks were getting built ass later in the game. It was 30-14. I was watching it and I was just like, oh man, here we go again. It's going to be a belt ass game where we get our ass kicked. The Rams are probably going to put up at least 40 or at least 37 on us, and we're going to get maybe to 21 at most. Um, and they came back. Here's my record from last week. By the way, for week 15, it was pretty solid, 10-6. But back to the Seahawks and Rams game, that was a pivotal moment. It's so much on the line because number one seed, taking the division, it's all of that, and also best record in the NFC. And the Seahawks got it, at least for now. And I know a lot of Rams, or not even Rams fans, just people go like, "Oh my god, that backwards pass, blah blah blah." Like, it's in the rules. It's pretty simple. Just look at the rules. And also, the refs can't control if the Rams choke. So I mean, here's a simple fact: just don't choke the lead. Don't blow a lead. That's all I gotta say. You're up 30-14. Sam Darnold gives you two picks, and there was a fumble earlier at some point. And granted, that was at the end of the second quarter, but nevertheless, the game was in the Rams' hands, and they choked. So you know what? That's on them. You can't blame the refs for everything. Womp womp. Boo hoo. Anyways, so big choke job by the Rams, and honestly, great that I won't talk shit no more. It was a good game. It was, Puka Nakua had a great game. And I will say this, out of one takeaway, Matthew Stafford probably still MVP in my opinion. I think he deserves the award. He's had a great season. He played very well against the Seahawks, and honestly, I mean, he played great. All right, as a Seahawks fan, I'm saying this. Okay, he played great, and he honestly does deserve MVP. Probably. It depends on what happens in the last two games. Yeah, in the last two games. Um, unless Josh Allen or whoever else is, or Drake May or anybody else that's really on the list who could get it, has phenomenal games for the last 2 weeks, then maybe someone else will take it. But right now, I think Matthew Stafford has to get MVP. Like, that's just being real. I think he has to. I think it'd be kind of like a robbery if he didn't get it at this point. So, yeah, we got some big games this week. We have some Saturday games. Some of the games this week are generally not that appealing, though. There's a couple sloppy games. So, our first game, though, will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 4-10. They managed to beat the Giants last week, which was good, I guess. They have, sorry, excuse me. They have announced that Jaden Daniels will not start another snap this season, and that's honestly that's a good thing because he's had multiple injuries this year. He's missed so much time this year. There's no point in trying to force him out there because the season's already over. So this is a simple game for the Eagles, though. I think they clinch their division and eliminate the Cowboys if they win, or at least they clinch the division 100%. And the Cowboys probably will be eliminated anyways. But this is a simple game for the Eagles. Don't choke. Don't poop your pants. Don't have a bad game. Just play good. And don't shit yourselves. That's all I gotta say. There's really not much to be said about this game. No Jay and Daniels, so it's Marcus Mariota and friends. Of course, Marcus Mariota and friends trying to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know the Eagles have definitely had their ups and downs this year. But seriously, this is the type of game where you just don't want to fumble it. So if you're the Eagles, don't lose to a shitty team. Just take care of business, clinch your spot in the playoffs, and kind of just ride home with that. Would also be like the first time the NFC East has a back-to-back winner in some odd how many years, something like that. But it's always been a different winner, and this year will be the first one to change that. And like I think of a decade plus at least. I don't actually know how long it's been, but nevertheless for the Eagles, just take care of business. I almost said communists. Beat the Commanders, and just take care of business. That's all I got to say. So I got the Eagles winning this one. Should be pretty easy for them. All right, next game is the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. This is a Saturday game, just like the Eagles game. I forgot to mention that. Not that it's a big deal, but this is a big battle. This is potentially for the NFC North. And I know people are going like, "What about the Lions?" I think the odds of the Lions winning this division are pretty damn low. They're pretty low. But it's I mean, I don't think even think it's possible at this point. But nevertheless, the Lions can still make the playoffs, which I do want to make one apology. Last video I made, which was the how far can these NFL teams go, I forgot to mention the Broncos, which is crazy. So I deeply apologize for that. And I don't know how. I was making that video, and I'm like, did I get everyone? And I did a double check right before publishing the video, and I didn't even notice that I missed the Broncos. So I'll probably talk about that randomly later in the video. Give honestly my take of how far they can go in the playoffs. But right now, let's get back to this Packers and Bears game. The Bears are going to be without Roma Dunze and Luther Burden, which is huge for their offense. But I almost said the Cowboys. The Packers will be without Micah Parsons, which he unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury last week, which is unfortunate. It's really terrible. Injuries suck, man, especially with star players like that, who right when the playoffs, especially right when the playoffs, dude. I feel like him being on the team elevated our defense so much. And I'm not saying their defense is a bunch of scrubs without him, but I mean, I feel like it does hurt their playoff chances so much more because once they go against a team that has at least because no matter what kind of offensive line a team has, Micah Parsons finds a way through it, and without him, I just don't feel like they'll be able to create as much pressure. So, anyways, to this game, last year the Lions and Packers split, I believe, off a blocked field goal. Nevertheless, this is a tight game, and honestly, winner could, I believe, take the division. Maybe. The Packers. I'm gonna be honest. I am leaning with the Bears this time. It's in Chicago. It's gonna be cold as fuck. I understand it's cold in Green Bay too, but the Bears are not gonna let the Packers sweep them. And I understand they have some injuries at offense, particularly at the wide receiver position. But I feel like the Bears can pull it out this time. I feel like they can split with the Packers because they won't let them sweep them. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going with the Bears with this one. I think just rely on the running game. Let Caleb Williams. I mean, he is going to have to rely on DJ Moore a bit and all the other receivers that they got on the team, and also just lean on that running game. The Packers defense will not be as potent without Micah Parsons. Their secondary is not that great, in my opinion. Granted, Caleb Williams did indeed throw a game-losing pick last time, so maybe I shouldn't be talking shit about their secondary, but their secondary is still not great. So I feel like just don't make mistakes. The Bears can certainly come out on top, and also I want them to win because not that I want them to win next week, particularly against the 49ers. But anyways, my apologies. I almost dropped my phone. I'm going to go with the Bears with this round. I think again they can split with the Packers. The Bears are a solid team, and honestly, if they get swept by the Packers, then well, they're not there yet. But I think this is one huge game. Granted, it will be difficult because again, the injuries I mentioned. But I'm gonna go on a limb and go with the Bears in this one. Our next game, we got the Chargers and Cowboys. I believe if the Cowboys lose this game, they are officially eliminated, which will happen. I think the Cowboys are once again just having a Cowboys year where they're not particularly bad, but they're not great. So like they're just in the middle and they're just extremely mediocre. And they'll finish with like well, actually no, they will. The thing is for them, they can at least retool next year, at least add new players. They get two first round picks. Obviously, they have their own, and then they have one from the Green Bay trade, which, as it stands, one would be in like the mid picks within like the, I don't know, 15 to 17, 19 range maybe. Depends on how the Cowboys actually finish. And then one will be in the 20s range with obviously depending on how the Packers finish as well. But nevertheless, I think the Cowboys are mid. But I will say the injuries to the Chargers offensive line is not great. Their offensive line continues to get more injured or just more banged up each and every week. And as I mentioned in the how far they can go in the playoffs, I did mention like I think that'll generally come to, like at some point once it hits the playoffs, it will be a problem because once they go against a team that has a good pass rush, they won't be able to protect Justin Herbert enough. And I feel like that offensive line will be the liability. All the injuries to it is just going to be a little too much when it comes to playoff time. But again, when it comes to this game, I think they can take care of the Cowboys. The Cowboys are, again, they're mid. They even if they win, their playoff odds are like practically nothing. I think they're not there. They're not going to get it. They again they have next season. Of course, I feel like they could be back into the playoffs next season, maybe. Especially with how the Eagles are going. I'm not saying they're going to instantly collapse next season, but I feel like a decline is coming for the Eagles more and more because it seems like they're kind of declining more in each year. Obviously, they had the Super Bowl, but then this year they're not the same team. Granted, they could surprise me and go to the Super Bowl next year. I'm not saying they'll miss the playoffs, but certainly they will regress. And I think the Cowboys only got to. They need help. Yeah, they definitely need new players. That's why the draft is a thing and free agency and trades, of course. But when it comes to this particular game, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert's he's a very obviously a great receiver. I almost said receiver. Justin Herbert's a great quarterback, and he'll honestly have a nice time torching this pretty mediocre Cowboys secondary. Even with the offensive line injuries, I think the Chargers are talented enough to beat this Cowboys team, which are again mid as fuck. So I got the Chargers taking it in this one, and also just eliminating the Cowboys because I'm pretty sure I saw a thing saying that the Cowboys can be eliminated if they lose, which will happen, I think. So yeah. Our next game, we got the Vikings and Giants. This is a pretty easy game to predict, in my opinion. The Giants are bad. They're 2-12. Their season's very much over. Obviously, it's been over for a while. And the Vikings, I'm pretty sure they're already eliminated, but I guess they're just. I mean, they could honestly make a fight to at least 8-9, 9-8, maybe, and at least have a better outlook for the season, and then kind of carry some momentum into next season, hopefully, maybe. But this is a simple game for the Vikings. Just even though again your playoff hopes are gone, I'm pretty sure again they are eliminated. I don't think they can make it in. So it wouldn't matter in the first place. Plus, the NFC is too tight. No 9-8 team is going to make the playoffs. And if any 9-8 team is going to make it, it's going to be the Bucks or the Panthers. But I think with this game, it's just pretty simple. The Vikings have the advantage. They had a good game last week, right? Last week, yeah, they had a good game last week. I think, yeah, they did, and yeah, they beat the Cowboys. Yeah, so they had a good game last week. I feel like they can honestly repeat. They're playing a worse team, so just let JJ McCarthy cook. This final stretch of the season is a good chance for him to kind of really show he's got. Again, they are playing scrubs, but you can't really choose your opponents again. And confidence is confidence. It doesn't really matter. It's a momentum. You can at least have something to look forward to next year. If JJ McCarthy really plays well in these last few games, he's kind of undoubtedly the starter. Because I know there was definitely some concerns, or some people are still set. Granted, if you have the chance to trade for Joe Burrow, you 100% take it. But this is just, again, kind of excitement for next year. But with this game, it's very, very easy, dude. I mean, the Giants. I'm not picking the Giants. I'm going to go with the Vikings. The Vikings are a better team. Their secondary's pretty fucking awful, actually. So maybe Justin Jefferson can atone for all the lost yards he's had this year. And just the not great years he's had. So I think, again, the Vikings are a better team. They can just simply handle business. This Giants team is terrible. So I got the Vikings winning it. All right, next game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Miami Gay Sharks. I mean, the Dolphins, they can't play in the cold. Oh, wait, no. Wait, this is in Miami. I, for some reason, thought it was in Cincinnati. Okay, well, I don't think that helps our chances either. I mean, the Dolphins have been oddly, well, not last week, but they were winning a couple games last week. Or not last week, a couple weeks ago, over some bad teams and stuff. They're kind of improving their record to 6-8. I don't think they're officially eliminated, but again, just like I said about the Vikings, no 9-8 team is going to make the playoffs in the AFC. It's too loaded. So I mean, I know the Bengals, they're not much better. They are not a great team. Joe Burrow might be off the team next year. Who knows? Joe Burrow, he needs a team with a fucking good offensive line, dude. I'm telling you, because I swear he's too talented to have this kind of just shit with multiple season-ending injuries. It's terrible, and if I'm being honest, he needs a fresh start. He needs to go somewhere new, anywhere really that has a better offensive line than the Bengals, because they refuse to invest in that O-line. But I think this is a pretty simple game. I think the Bengals take it. They're bad, but they're not. Actually, I don't know. These are both pretty bad teams. I think I'm still leaning with the Bengals. Joe Burrow, Also, the Dolphins, they're starting like Quinn Ewers or something, whatever that guy's name is, a rookie. So actually, yeah, no, fully taking the Bengals. Right, I forgot. I just remembered that. Hi, Kitty. Sorry, my cat just jumped on me. She's saying hi, but Bengals win this game pretty easily. Honestly, I mean, it's a rookie quarterback. I mean, granted, this Bengals defense isn't like the Seahawks defense or the Rams or the Browns or anything, but yeah, I mean, this is pretty easy. Bengals win this one. All right, next game we got Battle for the NFC South Part 1. We got the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. It seems like neither of these teams want to win the division. And you know what? That's fair. Maybe they're just afraid to go to the playoffs and get bounced in the wild card because that's exactly what's going to happen to either of these teams if they make it. I mentioned it in the video, in my last video. I just honestly, this is just my personal belief. I do not think the Panthers or the Buccaneers would get past the wild card. They would finish with the 4th seed, so whoever is the 5th seed would come to town, which currently would be the Rams, and they would come to town and kick their ass. Now, granted, I understand the Panthers already beat them, but this is the playoffs. You're not beating playoff Matthew Stafford. You're not beating the playoff Rams. I mean, that'd be a great scenario, to be honest, for me, at least, because I'm a Seahawks fan, of course. But logically, there's just no way either of these teams make it out of the wild card. But again, it seems like neither of these teams want to win. Both of them lost to shitty teams last week. One loss to the Falcons, one loss to the Saints. Which is worse? Probably losing to the Saints, but fuck if I know, man. With this game in particular, I'm pretty sure this is the one that's in Carolina at first. I really don't know. I really don't fucking know where to go. Because you have the Panthers who can play well occasionally and generally light up the scoreboard or just have a great game. And then there's times where they get swept by the Saints, by the way. They got swept by the fucking New Orleans Saints. How does that happen? I think for round 1, I'm going to lean with the Bucs. I honestly think at the end of the day, these teams will split. But with round 1, I think it's going to go to the Buccaneers. I think they're... I really don't know. This is kind of just a random pick. I'm going to lean with the Bucs because I like them a tiny bit more. But that's a big maybe. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I like them more. They might still lose. But right now, I think I am going to go with the Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield can hopefully have a good game against a pretty mediocre secondary in the Panthers and let his weapons fly and get to 7-8 just to fall to 9-8. Honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, the winner of this division is again not getting past the wild card and will likely finish the 9-8 record. Maybe 10-7, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, what are you doing? Sorry, my cat's being weird. But again, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers with round 1. I think, again, at the end of the day, they'll split, so that's a kind of a hint, for, I guess, for our Week 18 pick. But I'm going to go with the Bucs in this one. Here, folks, we got a future Super Bowl matchup between the New York Jets versus the New Orleans Saints. I'm very much joking. This would never be a Super Bowl matchup in 100 years. This is a garbage bowl, if anything, actually. Two dog shit teams. I guess they're fighting for a higher draft pick, maybe? I don't know. The Saints are bad, but they've oddly been gaining a bit of momentum. They've been winning over some teams, which is good for them, of course. And then you have the Jets, who are the Jets. This is fairly simple, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think Tyler Shock, or whatever his fucking name is, Schaub or whatever. Pretty sure I'm butchering, I apologize. I think he's playing well. He's actually playing well. He's, he might be the guy in New Orleans, which is crazy because he wasn't really, I'm not sure if they drafted him with that idea that he was the guy, but he could be. Now, granted, we could be wrong, but I feel like with he's playing well, you got to stick with him. You got to give him a chance. Give him a supporting cast next year. And not saying the Saints would turn into an instant, playoff contender, but I think if they have him playing at a good level and at least a better receiving core or more tools on the offense, they can at least be a middle of the road team, a future playoff contender at least, not next year for sure. It's a long rebuild, but I think they might have their guy. Granted, he's like 26, so they gotta win now. I'm like, this guy's like 26 or something. He's like a 26-year-old rookie. You don't see that very often, but back to the main point. Saints win this game. They are a better team. Actually, I don't really know. They are a slightly, maybe 2% better team than the Jets. Maybe 1.5% chance because both these teams have been ran horribly for years. Like the Saints, for some reason, gave Derek Carr like a 3 or 4 year deal, which Derek Carr is a mediocre quarterback, I would say. But also the Jets have also did some dumb things, like giving Justin Fields a 3 year contract. So where he is a terrible quarterback, I would say Derek Carr is probably a better quarterback than Justin Fields. So I think when it comes to this game, though, again, Saints probably win this game. I think they are a better team slightly. So I got the Saints win this one. Finally, a slightly more entertaining game. We have the Bills versus the Browns. It's actually not that much entertaining, but Browns defense is good. I think that's really the only way they could win it is if their defense absolutely has a great day. Which Myles Garrett, I feel like if you put him on any other team, he'd possibly be in the MVP candidate. He deserves freedom, but granted, he did choose to take that contract over there. So, I mean, free Myles Garrett, free everyone, free all the good players on this terrible Browns team. Because I feel like if you put a lot of these players elsewhere, they'd be getting a lot more attention. But Myles Garrett gets a lot of attention as it is, but he's on a terrible Browns team, and I generally feel bad for him. But when it comes to this game, I think I'm going to go with the Bills. It's very easy. Again, as I mentioned, really the only way the Bills can lose and the Browns win is if their defense has a great day. But if you're the Browns, I would say keep losing. Keep losing for your sake. For your own sake, for your future, keep losing. So, yeah. But anyways, Bills win this game. They are a better team. Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. I mean, obviously, there's not much of a comparison. Bills are a better team on every level except for maybe defense. The Browns have a solid defense. But yeah, so Bills win this game. This is a really short prediction. That's all I got to say. Bills win this one. All right, next game is a pretty boring matchup. We got the Chiefs versus the Titans. This is wild. Chiefs, not in the playoffs race, eliminated. Patrick Mahomes is unfortunately out. He suffered a season-ending injury, which could possibly sideline him for the beginning of next season too, which could be crucial. And neither of these teams have anything to play for. The Titans maybe, I don't know, I guess make sure you get the number 1 pick so you can trade and get a bunch of draft picks in return. Chiefs maybe, I think the note for them is maybe get to 9-8 so you at least have a winning record. But that doesn't really matter too much. With this game, I think this is another short one. Just like I said, despite not having Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are still better than the Titans. I'm sure the morale is probably pretty low. You know, obviously it must suck to see Patrick Mahomes who go down, who's never really missed much time due to injury. He's missed games, yeah, but not this bad. He's never had this kind of situation happen to him, and never had, obviously, where the Chiefs are not fighting for a playoff spot or anything like that. This is a big blow to them, you know, I can imagine. So, I mean, but still, they are still a better team. They are still better than the Titans. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. It's pretty easy. So there's not much to be said. So Chiefs win this one. Relative ease because, again, the Titans are bad. Finally, an actual entertaining game. I'm joking, but this is probably the best game we got this week. Possibly one of the best ones. We got the Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The number 1 seed Denver Broncos are really good. I mean, there's not much to be said. I think they're a really good football team, actually. Speaking of which, I want to mention, as I mentioned earlier, I forgot to mention them in the how far can the teams go in the playoffs. Let's get to it. I honestly think the Broncos can make the Super Bowl if all things fall in their favor. I'm being dead ass serious. Okay, I'm not capping. I'm not like out of my mind. I look at this team and they have a really good defense. They have an offense that's certainly not dumb. Their offense is certainly, they're not perfect, but they can certainly put up points. A lot of people go like, oh, well, they don't have that many great receivers. Well, they're not that many great receivers. Constantly always come in clutch. So I don't want to hear where people say they don't have great receivers. Sure, they don't have Justin Jefferson. They don't have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They don't have Puka Nacua. They don't have anyone like that. But they have talented receivers who come in the clutch, and they got a good quarterback, and they got a good team. This Broncos team can 100%, in my opinion, make the Super Bowl if all things fall in their favor. So again, to this predict, what are you doing? I'm sorry, my cat's tweaking. So if you're hearing that in the background, I apologize. But This is a good game. This is a really good game. This is a huge game for Trevor Lawrence. If he can win this game and overcome one of the best defenses in the league and win, which I think is this a home game for them? I think it's a home game. If they can just do that, I think that'll I think that'll kind of cement the Jaguars as a pretty legit contender, honestly, and honestly cement Trevor Lawrence as a good quarterback. I think because to beat this Broncos defense, it takes a lot. There's a reason why they're only 12-2. They haven't lost a lot at all, actually. I feel like they would have beaten the Colts. If it wasn't for a few things, they would have easily beaten the Colts if it wasn't for that field goal, of course, but obviously that's how it works. This team is really good. This team is elite. Their defense is good. And if the Jaguars can overcome that, that'd be crazy. And I think they can, but I'm not really sure if I want to pick them. I think, I'm going to be honest, I am leaning with the Broncos. As much as I just hyped up the Jaguars, I think the Broncos defense is just too good. I think they're too good. They will definitely give Trevor Lawrence a problem. I think Trevor Lawrence will still have a good game, and it'll be a close game, 100%. It'll probably be a battle. But at the end of the day, I like this Broncos team. They are one of my favorite teams from the AFC in terms of this season. I think they're just looking that good. Their defense is something, and their offense is not they're not no slouches either. I got the Broncos in this one. I think they can overcome the Jaguars and take the win and get to 13-2. And I think they will 100% finish with the number one seed. They are the best team in the AFC, and I cannot wait to see them in the playoffs. I got the Broncos winning this game against the Jaguars. By the way, I wanted to randomly mention this could be a playoff preview. By the way, we could see these teams faced off again in the playoffs, so that will be very exciting again. But I like this matchup. Trevor Lawrence could have a great game. I think he can. This Broncos defense is still good. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence can genuinely overcome, though, that'd be crazy. But at the end of the day, I still go with the Broncos. Back to mediocrity, yay. We got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Arizona Cardinals. Both of these teams are mediocre and garbage. I'm joking, everyone. Hi. This is a pretty mediocre game, 100%. Neither of these teams have anything to play for. They're both eliminated. This is probably another short prediction, but the Cardinals are dog shit. They're bad. The Cardinals are straight up horrible. They are horrible, and they need a straight up rebuild. Keep Trey McBride, of course. He's probably your only bright spot. Marvin Harrison is not the receiver he's meant to be, but maybe that's what happens when you have Kyler Murray as your quarterback. Maybe that's just a thing. Maybe just having Kyler Murray as your quarterback will hold back. I feel like if you put Puka Nacua on the Cardinals, he probably doesn't get much going down either because you got Kyler Murray as your quarterback, and Kyler Murray sucks. Granted, why am I mentioning Kyler Murray? He's out for the year. They're not playing him anymore. But nevertheless, Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett, this team is terrible. They need a restart. New coach, new players, new idea. The Falcons they're not the best either, but they're certainly a better team. Pretty easy. I think the Falcons win this bird fight. Also, I think the Falcons are a cooler bird than the Cardinals. Granted, Cardinals are cool birds, but Falcons are also really cool. I like the red of the Cardinals. This is so random, man. I got the Falcons winning this one. Just don't play like shit. Don't lose to a shitty team. They can also kind of not really screw over the Rams, but the more the Falcons win, the higher that draft pick for the Rams goes up. So again, if you don't remember, the Rams and Falcons did a trade where the Rams gave up the Falcons, my bad, gave a first-round pick to the Rams in exchange for some rookie player they drafted, of course. So the Rams will get that draft pick. The more the Falcons win, the higher that draft pick goes up. Not like in overall value, like not like going to like the number one pick, but like lower, I guess. Not like any first-round pick is obviously worth something, but like it might not be like a super. So some people are generally thinking with how bad the Falcons were, it might legit end up being a top 5 pick, top 10 pick at least. With how much the Falcons are currently, well, not they're winning a bunch. This pick might fall out of the top 10 at least and be within like the teens, 12th pick, 13th pick maybe. Granted, that's not bad. That's still not bad as an early pick, and the Rams can definitely use that to get a great player. But overall, this is a pretty simple pick. The Falcons are better than the Cardinals. This is easy. The Falcons are way better than the Cardinals. Even though the Cardinals are one of the oldest teams in the league, they have absolutely nothing to show for it. Fun fact, yeah, I know. They have like one Super Bowl appearance. They lost. They've had a chance. They got their the closest time was in 2015 where they got throttled by the Carolina Panthers, which the Panthers were a good team that year, of course. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty easy. This is Falcons win this one. Our next game is a fun one. We have Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. In reality, it's just the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Houston Texans. Um, Obviously, if you are wondering which team is which, the Raiders are the Coughing Baby. The Raiders are horrible, like straight up awful. I feel like being a Raiders fan must be a miserable experience. However, they're still very passionate fan. They're still a very passionate fan base, and I absolutely give them all the props in the world for that because I feel like most people could not maintain being a Raiders fan. And absolute props to Raiders fans for surviving each season with them being dog shit, of course. This is a simple game for the Texans. Their playoff hopes, they obviously can make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure they are in the playoffs, obviously. So just don't lose this game. Just don't lose to a dog shit Raiders team. Handle business. And in reality, this is going to be a simple belt to ass game. The Raiders offense is nothing great, and the Texans defense is very good. So let's be real. The Texans defense will not let this Raiders team score a single point, and they might have back-to-back shutouts, which would be crazy if that happens. And honestly, again, I won't be surprised if it does, because the Raiders are that bad. I'm going with the Texans. This is very, very easy. Texans win this one, belt-to-ass type game. It ain't going to be close. All right, next game, we got Aaron Rodgers going against his former rival. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Detroit Lions. Both of these teams, well, one of them is already technically in due to their division spot. The Lions are fighting for a playoff spot, and they need to win every game. They need to win out for them to get in. Granted, they also need to hope the Niners at least drop a few games in order for them to get in. So, I'm going to be honest, I already have the Lions win this game. I think the Lions are a much better team than the Steelers. Their defense, despite being very expensive and so many expensive players on the defense, they don't play like it half the time. They play like a bunch of slobs that don't know what they're doing half the time, or their defense just can't stop shit for some reason. Aaron Rodgers he can still sling it around, I guess, but he's not elite by far. The Lions have a very good offense. Their running game is extremely great. Obviously, they got a two-headed dragon. What the hell? Sorry, again, my cat's tweaking. I don't know what she being weird. She's tweaking. She's going crazy. But this is come on. Lions win this game. The Lions are much better on offense. Sir, the Lions defense is certainly not great. But I just don't trust the Steelers. The Steelers are not very great. They're just kind of middle of the road. They'll maybe continue their winning record season, of course, under Mike Tomlin, which again is such an overrated accomplishment in my opinion. Because sure, you can have all these winning seasons, but not a single playoff win since like 2015 or 16. That's just not it, man. Sure, you can have 20 straight years of winning seasons. That's somewhat impressive. Sure, I would say that it's certainly impressive, but it's super overrated in my opinion. It's again impressive, but not the greatest thing in the world. Almost said Steelers. Lions win this game. They are a by far better team. They're going to be playing desperate. They know their playoff hopes are in their hands. They need to win out. They need to win out, and they got to hope that the Niners at least drop a game or two. So Lions win this game over the Steelers because the Steelers are pretty mediocre. I just again they'll win their division probably just because they already have the advantage in it. But actually, I don't know, man. But right now, I got this. I got the Lions win this game. All right, next game we got another good one. We got the Patriots and the Ravens. Ravens are fighting for a playoff spot right here. They are desperate. If they drop this game, their playoff hopes are, I would say, honestly, probably over. And the Steelers will take the division. But I'm going to be honest, I just don't like the Ravens in this matchup. They're not playing great this year. They are not. I understand they just handled the Bengals really well, but that's the Bengals. And again, not trying to take away from anything. The Patriots are a good team. Drake May is a very good quarterback. And Lamar Jackson is just not having his kind of signature year. He's not playing well. I like what Mike Vrabel has done with this team, and it's only like his, first year with the team? Second year? I don't actually know how long he's been there, but he's new. He is making wonders happen, and this is only, I think, year one. I think the future is very bright in New England. I think it's not necessarily a new Brady Belichick dynasty, but certainly a new dynasty. Not dynasty yet because they have to win multiple Super Bowls, but this will be a very consistent team for years. And I'm gonna be honest. I think the Patriots can certainly win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years at most. Within the next 5 years, possibly, as long as they continue to add talent to this team and continue to grow as a team, they can and will probably win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. This Ravens team, they're not playing great. They're not. And there's times where they just don't play great at all. I trust the Patriots more. I think they are a better team. I have the Patriots winning this game. They will, one, eliminate the Ravens likely, not 100% of course, but the Ravens odds will just be ever so slightly lower by this point after losing. Granted, they have hope because I still think the Lions will beat the Steelers, so they have a chance, but not much of a chance, of course. I think, again, when it comes to this game, I think, again, the Patriots are just a better team. I think they are a much better team. I got the Patriots winning this one. All right, next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Indianapolis Colts. I love it, man. It's kind of funny. I'm seeing a lot of, like, Niners fans thinking that all of a sudden they're going to win the division because they can win out. Listen, they will probably beat the Colts, but I'm going to be honest, they're not going to beat the Bears, and they're not going to beat the Seahawks. That's just being real. I honestly wish the Colts could win this game, and they honestly could. I just think the problem is Philip Rivers can't throw the ball down more than 10 yards. So, more than like 15 yards at most, so he can't sling it around that much. He can try. Maybe since he's had an extra week of practice, his arm has gotten a little bit better. And listen, I'm going to be honest, he didn't play that bad against the Seahawks. Granted, maybe the Seahawks just didn't know how to handle him. He was really just a check down merchant the entire game because obviously when you can't throw down more than 15 yards, that's what you're going to do, is be a check down merchant. But again, I don't think the Niners are going to randomly come out of nowhere and win the division. But if that does randomly happen, they will be bounced in the divisional because they're bad. I hate the 49ers. They talk so much smack and they don't have a single Super Bowl of recently to show for it. They're all like, oh, we're constantly making it there. Sure, that's great. Go ahead. Make the Super Bowl and then choke a 10-point lead for the third time. Congratulations. I'm joking. I do hate them, but I will, yeah, whatever. With this game, this is kind of an interesting one. Again, I know, Philip Rivers has had a bit of extra time, but I don't think I want to pick him. But my inner 49ers hater is telling me to. I think one thing the Niners or the Colts have to do to win is use the check down merchant, all right? Use that check down merchant ability against the Niners and rely on Jonathan Taylor. Try to get him to break out a bit more and run all over this not perfect 49ers defense that's injured. The Colts defense, I think, will be getting healthier as they're getting Sauce Gardner back, at least, I think. I'm not exactly sure. But they can certainly lock down the 49ers players, hopefully. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go against the Niners because I don't like them. In all real standpoint, I obviously rivals purposes, of course. But anyways, I have the Colts winning this game. Just rely on Jonathan Taylor. Maybe, again, Philip Rivers has gotten a bit more of a sling back. Maybe he can throw the ball more than 10 yards at least. But really, just don't lose to the Niners, please. I would really, really appreciate it if you win, Just really, really appreciate it. Because in the worst case scenario, the best case scenario for the Niners, they go at least 1-2. Because I don't think they'll beat the Bears, and they won't beat the Seahawks. But then anything could happen. But again, I have the Colts winning this game because, again, I'm a Niners hater, obviously. Rivals. So I have the Indianapolis Colts taking the win over the San Francisco 49ers because the 49ers suck. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. That is the final pick. I know that pick was a strictly a biased anti-49ers pick, of course. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. I feel confident in most of my picks, except for this one, actually. No, I think most of my picks are relatively good picks. I think the only one that could flip on me is Bears, Packers, maybe some of the shitty games like the Jets and Saints, or obviously this game with the Niners and the Colts. But yeah, I'm probably putting my own record at risk. My own record's fine. I'm like 177 and 76. No, 144. My bad. 144 and 76. So it's a pretty solid record, nevertheless. But at the end of the day, That's all. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I will try my best not to be late next week with next week's video, of course. But my schedule is a little packed, but I'll certainly will do my best to get it out before Thursday. You know, the Christmas games they got going on because, yeah, Christmas Netflix games. Isn't it crazy? But so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video and have a great rest of your day.